Imagine waking up one morning realizing that the life you're living doesn't feel like your own. Your decisions, your goals, even the way that you carry yourself begin to feel off, as though you've been following a script you never signed up for. It's not a sudden epiphany, but rather a quiet unraveling, a creeping awareness that grows louder by the day. Now, what if you're not alone in this? What if most of us drift on autopilot, shaped by forces that we barely understand? I'm Mark Roach. Welcome to Transcendent, a platform I've created to help us uncover these truths about ourselves, understand them, and hopefully inspire change. This space reflects the highs and lows that I've experienced, what I've learned from mystics, mentors, and even the people society tries to silence. Questions have shaped my life. My hope is that by exploring topics like the one we're discussing today, I might help you find your own answers. Today we're talking about something called the not self. It's actually a process of self-betrayal, a concept that might just explain the unease that so many of us carry in our everyday lives. The not self is a term from human design, explored deeply by Ra Uru Hu in his Rave Cosmology VIII. At its core, it refers to the part of us shaped by external conditioning rather than our true essence. Imagine for a moment that you're born with a specific blueprint, a unique design, designed to guide you in how you make decisions, how you grow, and how you thrive. But as you grow up, society pulls you in multiple different directions. It tells you what you should be and what you should want, and how you make decisions. But as you grow up, society pulls you in multiple directions. It tells you what you should be, what you should want, and how you should get there. Bit by bit, this not self starts to build, taking the reins of your life. You stop following your inner guidance and start living according to the set of expectations that were never truly yours. Think about the pressure that we face to conform. Get a stable job, have a family by a certain age, keep your head down, buy the house, smile even when you're not okay. Society hands us a checklist, but no one stops to ask if that checklist aligns with what we're here to do. And because these expectations come so early and so strong, we absorb them without question. We start measuring ourselves against these external standards, and then when we fall short, we blame ourselves, not the system that set the rules. Well, Rave Cosmology VIII describes the not self as something that distorts us at a fundamental level. Each of us is made of energy centers, or open centers as they're called in human design. These centers represent different aspects of our being, like our identity, our emotions, our willpower. When these centers aren't aligned with our design, the people condition them, communities, or the culture around us conditions them. For example, you might constantly seek love or approval because your identity center has been conditioned to believe that you're not complete without it. Or you might rush through your day without pausing because the collective pressure to stay busy has seeped into your root center. These distortions create a false sense of who we are. And over time, the false self feels not only real, but inescapable. Well, here's the thing. The world thrives on our conditioning. Conformity is the engine that drives our workplace, our advertising, even our politics. We're easier to manage when we follow the same script. But living as a not self comes at a steep cost. We find ourselves trapped in cycles of frustration, bitterness, and even exhaustion, wondering why fulfillment feels perpetually out of reach. Well, the not self, as described in human design, is madness, not in the sense of chaos, but in its sheer absurdity. It's absurd to live out a story that isn't even your own. But that's exactly what most of us are doing. I know this because I've lived it. For years, I measured success by standards handed down to me by the world. I worked to achieve what I thought I should, but the more I accomplished, the emptier I felt. It wasn't until I began unraveling this sense of self, peeling back the layers of performance, that I began to feel what authenticity could be. And the truth is, authenticity doesn't shine like a beacon immediately. It's subtle. It lives in the quiet recognition that you're no longer fighting to be someone that you're not. It lives in the relief of knowing that your choices come from you, not the expectations of others. Rave Cosmology 8 lays out the strategies for breaking free from this cycle. The key is in the surrender and letting go of the mind's need to control every aspect of our lives. The not self mind thrives on control, on the idea that if we just hustle harder or think longer, we can mold the world to our liking. But the real freedom comes from turning into our inner authority, the voice within us that already knows the way. It's not about effort, it's about alignment. It's about waiting for the right opportunities instead of chasing every option out of fear. It's about trusting that your design, your blueprint will guide you to the places and the people that you're meant for. And I want to clarify something here. When we talk about surrender, it's not about passivity. It's not about sitting back and letting life happen to you. It's an active process. It requires deep honesty, self-awareness, and often a willingness to dismantle the life that you've built in service to the not self. This can be uncomfortable. You might lose relationships, opportunities, or even parts of your identity that you've clung to forever, for years. But what you gain in return is priceless. You gain clarity, you gain energy, because you're no longer fighting against your own nature. And most importantly, you gain yourself. The lesson here isn't just theoretical, it's practical. Start by observing where in your life you feel the most resistance or frustration. These are often the areas where the not self or the self-betrayal has taken control. Ask yourself, whose voice that you're hearing when you make decisions? Is it yours? Or is it the voice of society or family or someone else? Pay attention to your body, to the signals that it's giving you. Alignment isn't just a mental process, it's a physical one. When you're operating according to your true design, you'll feel it in your body. You'll feel a sense of ease, a sense of rightness. And it can't be logically explained. This isn't a one-day transformation, it's a lifelong experiment. And there's no roadmap because your path is uniquely yours. But the first step is to the question of examining the structure, the roles, and the stories that you've been handed, that you've been living out. The truth is, the madness of the not self isn't something we can completely escape. The world is built around it. But what we can do is recognize it, step back from it, and choose differently. It's not about rejecting society or abandoning all the structure. It's about finding a new way to engage with the world, one that honors who you are at your core. It's about living fully and authentically, knowing that you're no longer performing for an audience that doesn't even see you. I'm Mark Roach. This is Transcendent. Wishing you all the best.